I was in perimenopause for 17 years. Here's what I learned. Hi, my name's Carol King. Welcome to Menopause Midlife Madness. Over here, we get down to the real nitty gritty around menopause and discuss all the topics that no one else talks about. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, be sure to hit the subscribe button and give me one of these, as it helps to push my videos out to more awesome people like yourself so that together we can grow a vibrant community right here on YouTube. And without further ado, here are 17 things that I learned during 17 years of being in perimenopause. We know from research that the average age of menopause is 51, but perimenopause can begin up to 15 years before that. So it's perfectly conceivable for a woman aged 35 to start experiencing symptoms of menopause, and that definitely isn't old. In my youth and naivety, I thought that menopause was just, hot flashes, mood swings, a minor inconvenience to go through for a couple of years and then back to normal. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We all do the menopausal transition differently. We have different symptoms at different times and to different degrees. You can even have the complete opposite experience to that of your mom or your sister. Who knew? I thought menopause was menopause, but apparently not. There are 3 stages. The first stage is perimenopause. The definition of perimenopause is when you are experiencing the symptoms of menopause, but you're still having a monthly period. Stage 2 is menopause. Menopause is when you have gone 12 consecutive months, car passing, without having a period. And stage 3 is postmenopause. Postmenopause is a term given to a period of time. When you've experienced your last monthly cycle, from that moment to the end of your life, that period of time is called postmenopause. And that's a little bit confusing. But if you want me to go in more in depth about that, let me know in the comments. The fact that there are so many symptoms of menopause is just one more example of how little that we are taught about this phase of our life, and the fact that estrogen is vital to the female body. I've compiled a list. There are 92 symptoms on my list, and the reason why I compiled this list is because I keep getting asked all the time, is this a symptom of menopause? Is this a symptom? Is this a symptom? And I fully understand being asked that question because there was a time when I was searching for that same information. We rarely get to see the complete list. I guarantee if you were to go to Google right now and type in menopause symptoms list, you would get a list of around 47 symptoms, because for some reason that number has become popular, but it's way more than that. I have a list of 92 symptoms. If you would like to know what all of those symptoms are, let me know in the comments and I will do a video explaining every single one of them. So let me know if you want that information. I started talking about menopause on social media in 2021, and I was quite shocked to discover that many people, medical professionals included, do not believe in menopause. They actually believe that it's imaginary, that it's all in a woman's head. Now, quite frankly, I find that insulting, to say the least. If you've experienced debilitating menopause symptoms, you know that you didn't imagine it. You know very well that that is absolutely real. So to have somebody tell you that it's all in your head is just dismissive beyond words, which is why we need to have these types of conversations so that we can dispel those kind of foolish myths. It was a good day when I found out that there are treatments available for women going through the menopausal transition. I thought that I had to suffer for the rest of my life. I thought what I had become, that was going to be my life. But thankfully, that is not the case. Some of those treatments include herbal remedies, lifestyle changes, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. I truly cannot express the value and importance of gathering a supportive network around you during the menopausal transition. This is an extremely difficult time of your life, so you don't want to be toughing it out alone. Get yourself a menopause specialist. Talk to your partner, your children, your siblings, your family members, your colleagues, your boss. Gather everybody together, get them on board so they understand what's going on with you and the support that you need so that you can better manage your menopausal journey. As women in midlife, we're often juggling a lot of hats. We are mother, we're daughter, we're colleague, we're boss, we're carer. We're doing a lot. But when we enter into menopause, there comes a time when we're not always going to be able to wear all those hats the way we used to. We're not going to be able to manage all of those things the way we used to. So it's a time to start sitting back and learning to set some boundaries. Learn to start telling some people no, because you will find that if you actually start and really look at your life, there's a lot of things that you don't really need to be doing, and there's a lot of people that really don't need to be in your life. So start to set some boundaries, because trust me, it will save your sanity. Never in my life would I have believed that resting was going to become my superpower. Insomnia is an extremely common symptom of menopause. So if you're trying to manage your life, trying to manage everything in it, and you're not sleeping, it's going to become a huge problem for you. So I highly recommend that you learn to start resting intentionally. So what does that look like? I struggled greatly with insomnia during perimenopause, and what I used to do was take breaks throughout the day, as many as I could possibly get away with. I would go somewhere where it's safe to do so and sit down, close my eyes, and just try to take some deep breaths and relax and quiet my mind as best I could for just a few minutes. And I found over time that that would just give me a sort of energy boost so that I could continue on throughout the day, even though I wasn't sleeping well at night. I have become a gym bunny. There, I said it, I'm out. I never would have believed that going to the gym was going to become a thing that I truly love so much. But let me explain why, because you may be surprised as the reason. I understood intellectually that as a menopausal woman, exercise would be valuable to me. I understood that, and I wanted to start doing some form of exercise. So in August 2023, I started to work out with a personal trainer 2 days a week. What I didn't expect was that I would have such an improvement in my mental health. I wasn't looking for that at all. I had no idea that that could even happen. I was extremely stressed out, extremely burnt out, and overburdened mentally at that time. And I found that going to the gym was just helping me to de-stress. And it got to the point now then when I couldn't wait to go, because I knew that I would get that relaxation from the exercise that I was doing. I now go to the gym 3 days a week. My trainer wants me to make it 4. Eventually I probably will work up to 4, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It doesn't matter what form of exercise you do. Pick something that you enjoy. That's all I would say. Don't do it for doing its sake. Pick a form of exercise that you actually enjoy and do it at least 3 times a week. If you're going to a gym 3 times a week, if you're doing something more gentle like walking, you want to try to do that every day. But trust me, if you want to help to get some clarity in your mind, get some relaxation in your mind to de-stress, I highly recommend some form of exercise. I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to be able to continue eating and drinking the way you used to. You probably noticed it already. You'll probably find that foods that you used to eat all the time are now making you nauseous, or giving you heartburn, or giving you indigestion. The menopausal transition will force you to take stock of your diet and to start eliminating some things that are not sitting well with you anymore, and start introducing some more healthier options. Because if you don't, you're just going to be on this constant battle between yourself and your gut. I know, because I did it for a couple of years until I finally had to concede that I'm going to have to make some changes in order to make my own stomach a lot more comfortable. And once I did that, it was like night and day. The fact that so many medical professionals have no knowledge and no clue about treating menopause absolutely blew my mind when I discovered that. We are so accustomed to going to our doctors, relaying all of our issues, and having them be able to treat us, or at least point us in the direction of specialists who can. But unfortunately, when it comes to menopause, that is not always the case. Because medical doctors are not given specific training on menopause, the ones that can help us are the ones that have gone out and taken it upon themselves to learn how to treat menopausal women. So if you're on your journey now, you're probably going to have to do some searching to find a medical professional that can help you, someone that's knowledgeable, because unfortunately they're not hanging out on every street corner. And speaking of knowledge, how knowledgeable are you about menopause? The reason why I ask is, as we just mentioned, many doctors are not trained on how to treat women in the menopausal transition, which means we're going to have to advocate for ourselves. But if we don't have the knowledge, we're not going to be able to do that. I encourage you to go out there and discover as much as you can about menopause. Learn about all three stages, learn about all of the symptoms, learn about the treatments that are available and the research that is being done to help women understand this transition better. That way you can go out there and find yourself a doctor who is knowledgeable. You'll know how to recognize whether they have that knowledge or not, and then you'll be able to get the support that you deserve and the treatment that you deserve also. I was fortunate enough to grow up around a lot of strong, positive female role models. So when I got to perimenopause and I started to understand my transition, I kind of wondered, so how come none of these women told me what to expect? How come none of them pulled me aside and said, well, you know, Carol, they've got this thing called menopause and it's like this and it's like this. Why didn't anyone tell me? And to be honest, that bothered me for a really long time. I was a bit angry and I was a bit disappointed because I know the kind of women that I was raised around were outspoken, they weren't afraid, they were bold women. So I just couldn't fathom why they didn't tell me. But as time went on and I started to learn more about menopause, I discovered the reason. They didn't tell me because they couldn't. They couldn't give me information that they didn't have. We are now just beginning to scratch the surface about menopause. And so, unfortunately, they were in a time when no one was having that conversation at all. And we're only just starting to have it now. So they couldn't tell me the information because they didn't have it. Fortunately now, that is not going to be the case going forward. As Gen Xers, we are out here making sure that we learn as much as humanly possible, which is great. I have nieces in their 20s. They're already knowledgeable about menopause now. So when it's their time, it won't be the shocking, traumatic experience that most of us who are Gen X had to go through because we didn't know it was coming. They'll have that knowledge, they'll know exactly what it looks like, exactly how to treat it, exactly how to get help. And also the medical professionals, they'll be able to better treat them as well because a lot more research is being done right now into menopause. So that's a good thing. Now, before you get scared, there are some murky edges around that statement, so let me clear them up for you. I'm sure you already know that there are 3 stages to menopause: perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Now, if you thought that postmenopause meant the end of menopause, I could totally understand why you would think so. Because generally in life, when we think about something being post, it generally means the end of. Unfortunately, that's not the case with menopause. Postmenopause is simply a term given to a length of time. So when you've gone your 12 consecutive months without having a monthly cycle, from that moment to the end of your life, you are considered to be postmenopause. So what does that mean? The menopausal transition is different for all of us. We each have a different journey. For me, postmenopause has been way better than perimenopause. Perimenopause was the worst time of my life, but postmenopause has been a lot better. For some women, unfortunately, postmenopause can be worse. The symptoms can go on for many, many years, or they may only go on for a couple of years. I simply cannot tell you what your individual journey will be like. But what I can say is that if you make some changes to your lifestyle, get the treatment that you need, make sure you're seeing a menopause specialist, all those things can contribute to you having an easier time when you reach postmenopause. I distinctly remember being in school, sitting in my human biology classes, being taught that estrogen is responsible for my reproductive system. And I went through my entire life believing that that is all that estrogen did. Boy, was I wrong. Every major organ in a woman's body requires estrogen, which is why when we enter into our perimenopausal years, we can struggle with any kind of issues from anywhere from head to toe, from hair loss to dry eyes to dry mouth, heart palpitations, kidney issues, stomach issues, joint pain, muscle issues. The list goes on and on and on, because estrogen is literally life for us. And the fact that we're not taught that is such a disservice to women. Now, I know that when some of you read that, you were ready to fight me, and I totally get it. When you're in the middle of your worst menopause symptoms and you're suffering and you're in pain, you don't want to hear anybody telling you, oh, there's upsides to this, be positive. You're not in the time frame, in the mindset, I should say, to hear that. And I fully understand that, because I know that when I was having panic attacks and heart palpitations and anxiety and depression, I didn't want to hear anything about how this is a positive journey. But as someone who's now post-menopause, I can say that a time will come when you start to look back at your journey and you'll notice that there were changes that you made, that you were not the same as you were, and these changes were good things. You'll notice that you say no to people more often, and you don't feel bad about it. You don't spend time with people that drain your energy like you used to. You don't feel it necessary to do things that society tells women that they ought to do. You'll find that you start living your life for yourself instead of living life for everybody else. And I can say for sure that that is an upside. And that is 17 things I learned in 17 years of being in perimenopause. If you've watched this video all the way to the end, you are an absolute star. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time. And as you've been around this long, you might as well give me a thumbs up as well. And if this is a topic that is of interest to you, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Sunday. So until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next Sunday.